Welcome on in for today's college basketball pick video play for Tuesday, December 3rd, 2019. We got the ACC Big Ten Challenge in this one. The Duke Blue Devils on the road taking on the Michigan State Spartans. In Vegas, giving quite a bit of respect to the Spartans and their home court advantage as they come in favored by 6.5 points. Now, neither of these teams getting off to their perfect ideal start as we're working our way through the non-conference, as Duke has fallen back to the number 10 spot in the rankings, while the Spartans are at number 11. And the Blue Devils, they're at 7-1 with their overall record, with that one defeat coming in what was one of the biggest upsets that we've seen in a very long time in college basketball, as the Blue Devils lost on their home court to Stephen F. Austin. Now, outside of that, the Devils have been pretty solid. They picked up a really nice win over Kansas, and then throughout the rest of their schedule, they've picked up a lot of mid-major victories and then also a couple of nice wins in blowout fashion against Cal, and a little bit more competitive in their victory over Georgetown. In terms of their numbers, Duke has been putting up some really good numbers on the offensive side of the ball. They're 15th in all of college basketball in scoring, putting up around 84 points per game. So they're coming into this one against Michigan State, and coming into the season, the Spartans were the number one ranked team. We felt like they weren't necessarily going to quite live up to those high expectations, and thus far the Spartans, they're at 5-2 overall. Right out of the gate, they fell to Kentucky in a competitive one, and also during their Maui Invitational, we actually faded them in their first-round matchup against Virginia Tech, and that one the Spartans came in as rather considerable double-digit favorites, but they ended up losing that one to the Hokies by a final of 66-71. But after that, the Spartans were able to bounce back with an 8-point win over Georgia and a 13-point victory over UCLA. But those are expected to be more middling teams in the SEC, as well as the Pac-12. Now today they're going against a high-tier opponent. We'll see how the Spartans respond in terms of their numbers. Michigan State also pretty solid on the offensive side of the ball, putting up around 81 points per game while giving up around 65. Duke, very similar in terms of those defensive numbers, but they have been a step better on the offensive end, given the fact that the Blue Devils actually have a better point differential than Michigan State. If you're just factoring in the home court advantage, it just doesn't feel like the Spartans deserve being this large of favorites. We probably felt more like this was going to be in the 3 to 5 point range, but they're giving 6.5, which is a pretty steep ask in what should be a competitive matchup. So with that being the case, we feel like Duke getting those 6.5 points is going to be the better value bet. If you agree, give the video a thumbs up. Disagree, give it a thumbs down. And you can check out all of our college basketball picks for today over at stumpthespread.com, which is linked at the top of the video description.